All right, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to talk about what happened in modern Indian history, we're going to talk about how we even know what happened. How do historians actually piece it all together?
I mean, think about it. If you weren't actually there, how can you really know what happened in the past? It's a huge question, right? History isn't just a big book of facts. It's more like a giant puzzle with pieces scattered all over the place. So, how do we solve that puzzle for a story as big and complex as modern India's?
So to figure this out, we're going to open up the historian's toolkit. We'll look at the clues literally carved in stone, then dive into the stories told in print. After that, we'll actually listen to the sounds of the past. And finally, we'll see if seeing really is believing when it comes to historical photos and film.
Okay, first up, clues carved in stone. We're going to start with the most solid, tangible evidence there is, the material sources. You know, the physical footprints of the past, stuff you can literally see and touch.
So what are we talking about here? Well, it's everything from huge palaces and monuments to statues and even public buildings. But these aren't just, old rocks. They're like silent witnesses. They tell us so much about the architecture, sure, but also about the economy, the culture, and what people at the time really valued.
Okay, take the cellular jail in the Andaman Islands. This place is so much more than just an old prison. It's a national monument, and it's this powerful physical symbol of the struggle for India's freedom.
When you visit a place like this, you get a gut feeling, a real sense of what revolutionaries went through. It's like the walls themselves are telling you a story of defiance and struggle. It connects you directly to the experiences of people like V.D. Savarkar in a way a book just can't.
And it's not just about individual buildings. We also have museums, which are like these amazing curated treasure chests. They gather all sorts of objects, documents, and art to tell a very specific, focused story.
You go to a place like the Aga Khan Palace in Pune, for example, and suddenly the focus gets super sharp. It's all about the Gandhian era. By putting all these objects and documents from Mahatma Gandhi's life in one place, the museum helps us build this incredibly detailed picture of one of history's most important figures.
All right, so we've looked at stone and buildings. Now let's turn to paper. We're talking about written sources, and these are really the backbone of a lot of historical research. They give us the stories, the arguments, and all those little day-to-day details of a time period. And newspapers? Oh, they were a huge deal, especially in pre-independence India. They weren't just for reporting the news. They were like battlegrounds for ideas. They didn't just tell you what the British policies were. They dug in, they analyzed them, they criticized them. They actually helped shape how people felt and reacted, which made them a super important tool for social change.
And you can see this power so clearly in the work of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. For him, journalism wasn't a job. It was a mission. He started papers like Mukh Nayak, and later by Hishkut Bharat, specifically to fight for social reform and to bring people together. It shows you just how powerful the printed word could be.
But the paper trail isn't just words. You've also got visual stuff, like maps. And maps are just incredible historical documents, right? They're like a snapshot, freezing a city's entire layout in one specific moment in time.
So a historian can take a bunch of maps from different years, maybe from the Survey of India, and lay them side by side. And just like that, you can literally watch a city grow and change right before your eyes. You could track how Bombay's port was developed, for example, just by looking at the plans. It's a visual timeline of progress.
Okay, so we've seen things, and we've read things, but now it's time to listen. Because oral and audio history, man, these can be some of the most powerful sources we have.
Now, what does this even mean? Well, it's everything from inspirational folk songs to things called pawadas, which are basically these awesome ballads about heroes or big historical events. And then you have the total game changer, actual audio recordings. Sound gives you the spirit and the feeling of a time in a way that just reading words on a page, well, it often can't. Think about this. Because of audio recordings, we can actually hear Rabindranath Tagore himself singing Jana Gana Mana. We can listen to the fire in the speeches of leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose. It's not someone telling you about it. It's a direct, unbroken line to that very moment in history. It's incredible. Okay, for our last section, we're looking at sources that came from modern technology. And the promise was amazing. to finally show us the world exactly as it was. But is seeing always believing?
So before we had cameras, all we had were paintings. And paintings are great, but they always come through the filter of an artist's personal style and, well, their skill. Photography, though, that was a total game changer. All of a sudden, we had a tool that people felt was way more reliable. It didn't just show you what someone looked like. It showed you exactly how they dressed, what was in the background. It was a direct visual slice of an event as it was happening.
And look, if photography was a big leap forward, then film was like a quantum jump. I mean, now you've got visuals, plus sound, plus motion. It's the most immersive kind of historical source we had ever seen.
And that brings us to a key date, 1913. This is when the legendary Dada Saheb Phalke basically kicked off the entire Indian film industry. This wasn't just about entertainment, it created a whole new way to document and to experience history.
And because of film, we can see things we'd otherwise only be able to read about. We can actually watch footage of the Dandi Yatra. We can see the real Salt Satyagraha, the massive crowds during the Quit India movement. It is, without a doubt, the closest we can possibly get to being there.
So let's pull this all together. We've got stone, we've got paper, we've got sound, and we've got film. And here's the most important thing to remember. No single one of these tells the whole story. Not even close. A building can show you the architecture, but a newspaper tells you what people were arguing about. A photograph captures a single moment, but a song can tell you how that moment felt.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial tool in the historian's toolkit, critical thinking. You have to remember every single source, whether it's a building, a book, or a film, was made by someone. And that someone had their own ideas, their own opinions, their own reasons for making it. So we always have to ask, who made this? Why did they make it? What's their angle? It's only by questioning the sources that we can start to get a clearer picture of what really happened.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Everything we do today, every photo you post, every video you share, every message you send, it's all creating a historical record. It's a source. So 100 years from now, when some future historian is trying to figure us out, what story is all of our data going to tell about our time? What will they think when they start digging through the history we're creating right now?